I'm Dave, I sing and play guitar, and we're the Loved Ones.
We are the Loved Ones, and I'm Mike, and I play drums in the band.
You already did a lot of touring with your new record, Build and Burn, and how are the reactions to your new record?
They've been great. We've had great shows all over the world now. We've been on 2 states tours. We've been to Japan, and then obviously we're here in Europe now, and everybody's been excited about the record. The longer it's out, the more people sing along. And
yeah, it's been surprising, and sometimes, like in a festival in Belgium, so many people knew the words to the new songs. I couldn't believe it. It's been really overwhelmingly great.
Build and Burn, your new album, is about making decisions, and maybe it's incidental, but I got the impression that a lot of Americans deal with that question right now.
I guess, yeah, I think that our culture is starting to really feel it. The working class for sure is feeling this pressure. Yeah, I think that people are starting to wonder if they made the right decisions and whether or not they should have bought that giant car and that huge house and whether or not their priorities were a little bit skewed, now that things are starting to get a lot more difficult.
A lot of people that wouldn't be involved in politics or would just ignore it because things seem to be going slightly okay. Bush did such a bad job that it brought people, I think, that ordinarily would have nothing to say about politics and kind of forced them to have an opinion, either to take a stand for Bush against all this adversity or to realize that perhaps we were screwing up pretty badly as Americans. And I also think that being green now and environmental is a little more trendy than it was maybe 10 years ago, so people are it's a little cooler to be aware about the environment, even though it's not enough, at this point. But yeah, decisions are being made, probably more than there was before.
Your new record is also dealing with fear. Do you think that fear is the main reason why people don't dare to make decisions?
Yeah, if fear becomes too big of a part of your decision-making process, you end up making bad decisions. You don't follow what you want to do, really. You're afraid that things aren't going to work out, or that you're not going to have enough money, or somebody's not going to love you, or whatever it's going to be, and you make decisions that ordinarily, if you had a clear mind and were operating out of just the faith that you're able to do what you want to do in this world, you wouldn't make. So I think that fear is something we fight on a daily basis, or at least I do personally, to just make sure that I'm living my life in the way that I want to live it, and not succumbing to all the pressure of like, hey, you need this and you need that, and this is what your life should be, because it's mostly people just trying to sell you something. There's nothing really to be that afraid of.
Some fear is healthy in some situations, but typically all the decisions I've made out of fear have turned out to be bad. I mean, fear kills confidence, and confidence is what you typically need to make the right decision, because it's not always the easiest one, everyone knows that. But fear a lot of times makes you take maybe the easier road, and then the payoff typically isn't what it would have been if you would have just been confident.
What is your worst fear regarding your life as a musician?
I don't know. I'm not afraid, I guess.
With every record you release, I think you can hear more diversity. To me, it sounds like some other bands that say, well, we started as a punk band, but only because we couldn't play better.
No. We've always just done what we wanted to do. I mean, I think it's arrogant for people to say, like, I wanted to be in a good band, I just couldn't play, so I play punk. Like, watch Brian Baker play guitar and tell me he's not a great guitar player. I mean, there's an art to everything, whether or not you play hardcore, punk, or you play the kazoo. I mean, it can be done with grace and precision.
I think that was probably an element in the beginning of me playing music, because I started playing drums and immediately started playing shows in a hardcore band, and that was something in a hardcore band you could do. Yeah. Every teenage hardcore band that I knew, everyone was still learning how to play their instruments, and we would book a show and play before we even really had figured out what we were doing, and that helped me learn how to play.
What is the best drug one should use when listening to the Loved Ones?
Well, I would probably just say good old-fashioned alcohol.
Sure, have a beer, put your feet up.
Maybe a whiskey.
Throw the record on. I mean, I'm sure it sounds really good if you're like real stoned on marijuana, but most things typically do.